We are live, coming here with a brand new Stir the Pod podcast show. I'm your host Trevor, and tonight we are joined by Andy. Andy, how you doing tonight?
What up? What up?
And we're also joined by Alex. Alex, man, how you doing tonight?
Yo, yo, yo.
And we are here with the episode 14 recap show. I cannot believe we are already on episode 14. We are just flying through the season, and to me, I don't know about you guys. Another good episode tonight. I'm liking the path that we're on right now. I am on cloud 9 with challenge right now. I don't know about you guys. Let's hear from Alex first. Your thoughts on tonight's episode?
I think I'm more confused by tonight's episode more than anything. And I may be confused about how I feel because I say that because I liked it. I enjoyed it, but it was just something different. It was a different pace to it because of the fact that we had basically 30 minutes on the end of new stuff of, people coming back, another elimination, all that. And so the first hour of it felt weird because it felt like it was going at the same pace. We got all the same beats like the usual episode, but then you check the clock and instead of 20 minutes left, you have 45 minutes left. And so early on, you know that some shit is going down later in the episode, but I think what that did in a weird way is it got rid of a lot of the filler stuff in the middle. But I mean, I think I liked it. I'm just kind of still processing it because it was just different from the past 8 episodes that we've had in this era of the season.
It was arguably the biggest 60-minute tease. I was getting ready to hammer MVP 60 minutes. I love throwing that shit out there, but it didn't happen tonight. Andy, what are your thoughts on tonight's episode?
I mean, it was a good one. I will say it was just very different. It's different than what we got. I did the classic, what time is it? And I think they teased it a good amount last episode of revealing, the Redemption House and Kenny and all that. So that's where it became like, okay, this is what's the next 30, 45 minutes is going to consist of, which was fine because otherwise I would have been like, all right, what is happening here? I thought it was good. I think even though it was 90 minutes, I feel like they actually squeezed in a good amount in 90. Considering there was so much new stuff and so much change and everything like that. But it did bring up or did kind of get the gears turning my head. It's like, why is every episode not 60 minutes? Like, they accomplished exactly what they needed to. If this was a normal episode in the first 60 minutes, why can every episode from here moving forward not follow that same trend?
And similarly, if like a 90-minute episode should accomplish everything that we accomplished tonight.
Yes.
You get a challenge, you get an elimination, you get the next step of it. Tonight there was a twist, obviously, so it was a little different, but you get another event at the back end of it. And so if you say, when was it? Maybe 4 seasons ago was when we shifted from 60 to 90. If you're going to shift to 90 minutes, make each episode what tonight was just in terms of what happens. Because like Andy said, you can fit everything in a usual episode into 60 minutes. This season has just been a lot of 30-minute filler in the middle. And so instead of doing that, just from a broader perspective, make more things happen within one 90-minute episode if you're going to do 90 minutes.
So let me go this route with you for 90-minute episodes. If you're doing that route, first episode, more than likely the entire episode with meeting the house, meeting the characters, all that stuff is straight up 90 minutes. As soon as the elimination's over, there's your 90 minutes. Okay. Second episode, do you do something where you start off, they're back to the house, they go back to the club or whatever. The elimination ends at like an hour on the clock. And do you go to like kind of like a to be continued at the start of the daily? Like, how would you do that 90 minutes then if you want more into it? So eventually you would cut an episode. If you do like that 5 times, you're cutting at least one episode in between. You know what I'm saying? Like you would end with the cliffhanger of, no, you're not following?
No, I get what you're saying. I think the problem is that they're not doing one of those things. They didn't increase the length of the episode and also decrease the season.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, they increased both. And so there's just a fucking ton of filler. Whereas you could have gone from, let's say, 13 episodes of 60 minutes. You could have gone to 90-minute episodes, but gone to 10 episodes.
And that's what I'm saying. How would you cut that is my biggest thing that I'm saying. Would you cut it at like a to be continued with the daily, and then you'd pick up the next episode 2 or 3 or whatever at the start of the daily, and you would go through that elimination. You'd probably go through the entire daily next week, and then the next to be continued would be deliberation.
You could do it a couple ways. You could cut it as who won, because every single episode there's a commercial between the daily and who won. This is the closest daily we've ever seen. Or you could do like who's going to be the house vote, or you actually get to elimination, but you don't see who's going to go in. There are multiple ways you could chop it up. And to Alex's point, not just have endless filler.
Well,
because that's 25, 33% of this season is.
And that's what I'm saying is, like, would you be fine with starting off an episode in the middle of a daily from the previous episode, or at the end of the elimination, and then the next you're at deliberation? Are you fine with that, though? And it's just kind of all different?
Personally, I would say, knowing that the season would be shorter in general, like we go from 20 episodes to 12 or 13 like it used to be, I'd be on board with that.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be real. The secret code, the Big Mac sauce, is 15 episodes of 60 minutes. Like, it's that 10 to 15 range, 60-minute episodes. Like, the 90-minute is just excessive, and it's too much. Like, but tonight, I think they executed it well. So with that being said, let's just dive right into this episode. There's a lot to talk about, and every episode, the first thing we always talk about is the good old streak. And it was up to Nani to get the streak. And Alex, drum roll. Streak continues. Chalk her up. Chalk her up. Believe that was Alex's over, correct? For the season. I think it was like, what was it? Like 11 and a half, something like that. Chalk her up for you.
I think
first person to walk through. Pretty impressive. So opening or going into the episode, we talked about the streak. The next biggest thing was Horacio coming out of left field, literally, with flowers for Olivia. Like, can somebody explain it to Trevor where he purchased these flowers and just kind of showed up?
Yeah, I mean, that thought went through my mind immediately. It looked like it was an actual nice bouquet of flowers that you would buy in like a physical brick shop. And how the fuck is Horacio getting to one of those? And is production letting him do that? Are they kind of in on it? Did Roxanne Lavin kind of come by and drop off the flowers? People forget about that. Olivia's birthday, I guess, is why she got them, and she was all sad, and she kind of made a toast like, I've lost a lot of my friends. Who did she say? She's like, I lost Nelson, Nerese, like these have all been my best friends, and it's like, these are your best friends? I mean, come on. Like, Horacio's been there this entire time. He got the flowers. Who knows where he got them from? But it's just a classic stupid, smirky challenge thing.
She says these are their best friends, and then all you see in the corner is you just see Andy. I'm here. I can fill that void.
You couldn't hear me.
Exactly. The Collinsworth slide. It's just like that. Hello, I'm here.
Well, and like I do think you raise a good question of where they got these flowers, but the question that I'm asking in regards to the flowers is who's paying for this shit? Those look like nice flowers. I don't get it. Maybe Puss in Boots.
Yeah, maybe. Honest. Do you think the Challenges has a budget? Like, they hand, I don't know if it's Tej or an intern or whatever, just like a P card or whatever, and just like, hey, just go to the local grocery store and pick up flowers for Horacio. Like, what do you think that kind of budget is of just random crap like that? And I'm trying to think of other things that they would bring on. Like,
maybe like when they do big birthday parties, like when Bananas turned 40.
Top Gun birthdays.
Still doing this. I mean, I do think production did a good job of cutting up when she got the flowers. She was reading off the card, and it was like, hey, I know we're not on the same team, but you're still my ride or die. Then they cut it, but you didn't see the rest of the note when it said, by the way, go see Puss in Boots in theaters, February 10th. Antonio Banderas pushes back. They kind of cut that, so it's a good job, but I don't know if they'll be getting refunded for that.
Yeah, I have to admit, Andy, I wish we would have gotten that. Like, I would have loved to see a sponsored element to this if we would have gotten like, and don't forget to stop by Mikey the Doctor's Flower Shop on your way to Venezuela or wherever Colombia or wherever the hell they are, Argentina or wherever. Like that'd be so smirk. But another missed opportunity. What else is new? So moving straight from there, we'll go into the challenge. This challenge, I mean, tell me if we've seen this before. Heights, not above water. So I guess that's I was going to say something else. I guess not above water. Good for them. Good. I think that deserves one clap for the challenge. Not above water over heights. 3, 2, 1. Yikes. Is the delay that bad? So what do we think about this challenge? It's one of those where, you got the height element, you got the obstacles, but like there wasn't really much to it. I don't know. Thoughts?
I fucking hated it.
Whoa!
I hated it. There was nothing to it. We've seen it a million fucking times. The only cool part about it was that it was at night, and it kind of gave me the Sarah Bananas vibes, when Sarah sent them in and all that. But like aside from that, it was a thing we've seen a million times. But also, what I probably hated the most out of anything was just the fact that they decided the winning team based on the winning pair. That made no sense. That made no sense to me at all. It's, TJ has been emphasizing since they split into teams that you were on your team. You want your team to win, even though you're still connected to your ride or die, but whatever. It was literally just, I guess each team the Misfit team maybe went 4 times. The other team went 6 times, something like that, because they all had odd numbers, so they had to double up. But it's like, if you're only going to base it on who the fastest pair is, it just makes no sense. Chauncey had no punishment for quitting, which we'll get into, but there was no average time, anything like that. And it made no sense to me. And I didn't like the determining factor of who won. I didn't like the fact that it was, like Chauncey quit. Aside from that, everybody else did it. So there wasn't any drama. It wasn't easy to tell how good or bad teams were doing. I just didn't like anything about it. I'm sorry. I like some of these challenges. I just didn't like this one.
I ain't mad. And I think if you're going to do a challenge like this, where one team wins it for their team, you have to make the challenge so hard where it is genuinely hard to complete. Where almost like, what was the one they did earlier where like there was a platform in the middle and it would get raised and then you got to bring it back?
You would jump off the water, climb up the barrier, and then both jump at like kind of the same time, or one person would hold on and then
that was early.
Where like only a handful of teams actually did it. That's where I think it's more relevant. But like this was like every team completed it aside from the ones that didn't go. And in my mind, that takes away from the fact that like you're doing this for your team. It's just like, I don't know. I'm kind of with you on I didn't like it either. So,
well, that's my thing with this is what's the point of having just a group go? Like, and that's all that matters. Like literally, like Alex said, Chauncey, no punishment. Why not? Last week we did a whole thing on team. It was this took 45 seconds. This took 3 hours. This took 4. Why not keep that the same? Why are we going all over? You think it was an unfair advantage because groups went twice or would have to go twice like that? So
well, I mean,
one and done kind of thing. So, because
if
Jordan went twice,
And Fuzzy went twice. And guess who won? Fuzzy and Casey. And it was on Fuzzy's second go round.
Yeah.
I would have thought a lot more highly of this challenge if they had done it when it was ride or die pairs. When it's like 8 pairs going and Bananas and Nani go and then Jordan and Anissa go, like that would have made sense. Like whoever is the fastest pair wins the daily.
Yeah.
The way they kind of plugged it into the team format just really made no sense.
Gotcha. So what do we think about Casey and Fezzi picking up the dub for their team? Surprise, not surprise? I think what Andy kind of hinted at, going twice, I mean, huge advantage.
And they're also kind of, I like to call them,
Fake ride or dies.
yes, ride or dies,
Junior?
secondary ride or dies. Because
It's-
we all know that when Casey and Fuzzy got this call to be on this season and it's going to be ride or dies, Fuzzy immediately thought, oh, I'm bringing Casey. We're going to win it all. Casey was like, I forgot to get my brother Kenny something for his birthday.
Wait, who?
So I might as well bring him on the show.
Wait, Kenny? Who's Kenny?
Fake Kenny. Real Kenny, he's troubled past, blacklisted.
All right. So, like we said, Fezzi and Casey pick up the dub. And then we go back to the house, and nothing really happens that big in the house. We kind of go straight to the interrogation, and that's when the shit show starts. We have Devin, Horacio, Jordan in the pit. Who's going to be voted in? And then we just have, I felt like Devin was kind of it was pretty straightforward that he wasn't going to get voted in. So it was basically, who are we going to vote in, Horacio or Jordan? And that's when it was just bananas. I mean, literally, Johnny, Jordan, Tori crying. Like, it was just like, what is going on? And what is your both of you guys? I'll start with Andy this time. What is your thoughts on the whole Jordan and Tori saga? Like, I'm just kind of like over it to an extent. Like, I mean, Tori kind of screwed him over, but how Jordan's handling it is probably not the best case. But at the same time, it's just like, can we just grow up?
Yeah. Well, and before I give my, initial thoughts on that front, I don't know how we haven't addressed your outfit.
What outfit? Is this not the award show?
No. You're jumping the gun by about 20 weeks.
God, watch it.
But I personally didn't hate it a ton, honestly. Like, this was a pivotal point for the game, and it very much hinged on Jordan and also Tori. Jordan could have gone in. Tori was a pivotal vote in all this. So it was bound to just raise tensions and bring this to the surface. And it had kind of been swept under the rug for a little bit. And this was like the big, just airing everything out there. Jordan talking about, I thought I was going to spend the rest of my life with you. And I mean, it got very real very fast. And I mean, you could see it was crickets from everyone else in the room, which, like, from my perspective, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but watching that in my mind is pretty entertaining. And then also to see just the straight awkwardness of everyone else, as nothing short of a viewer, I enjoyed it. But I could very much understand if I was in a house with these fools and it had been going on for weeks, and then you get to this point, I'd be like, shut the fuck up. Like, just go, move on. Like, let's just stop talking about this. But from my perspective, I'm like, this is what I was waiting for. I called this weeks ago.
Alex, thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think I've been looking forward to this kind of boiling point, the apex mountain of their rivalry all season. And I'm assuming it was tonight. I mean, I wouldn't be mad if there's something else, that tops this later on in the season. But I guess I had always been assuming that the climax of it would be like out at a bar or some
Yes.
drunken night out. I wasn't expecting it to be in a deliberation room. And I guess, half the episode is in a deliberation room. So maybe I should have expected that. But, the fact that it was kind of just like it got brought up in conversation, and Jordan kind of, I think, was slowly tiptoeing because he was the one in the hot seat. And he said, some of those things like, Tori and I had, we have a past together, things like that. And, we were going to spend the rest of our lives together. And he's saying that, and not just in front of Tori, but in front of, 6 other clowns. And so the fact that it kind of came up through that, and then Tori is, crying by the end of it, and then they start cussing, because I think it was one of those things where they're kind of playing nice all season, playing nice in interrogation. And then Jordan says one thing that makes Tori a little emotional. She kind of feels defensive and snaps back. And then Jordan snaps back. And the next thing you know, they're yelling at each other. And so it's gone away from like the civilized conversation. But I mean, it's just a shit show. I have found it one of the more enjoying parts of the season. I'm glad that Jordan is back now, skipping ahead a little bit, but I mean, I enjoyed it. I wasn't expecting it to kind of happen the way it did, but I'm a fan of it.
Yeah, I just think the biggest thing is like, and Alex kind of hinted at already, is just the awkwardness. Like, could you imagine like being one of like if one of you two were just in the deliberation and somebody else is just spilling their guts and it's just like the most awkward thing ever. No?
Yeah, I mean, it would be again, and that's where I think I think I kind of hit it perfectly. It's like from our perspective, love it. If you're in the house, you're about ready to punch one of those two in the face and just be like, shut up. Shut up. So it is what it is.
It is what it is. So anything else to talk about deliberation with? I felt like we kind of hit everything. And we can kind of go straight to the elimination now. All right, so let's just dive in. Elimination. Votes are starting to happen. It's either going to be Horacio or Jordan, and it turns out to be Horacio. Big vote by Tori choosing Horacio over Jordan. I cannot believe she did that.
I'd be shocked if she voted Jordan.
Yeah.
I mean, because this isn't like Jordan voted in Fuzzy.
Yes.
Could it maybe make Tori's game a little more complicated? Sure. But was he voting her in? Absolutely not. So, and that's, I think, what Tori probably thought of. Like, if I say his name, he's literally going into elimination.
Mm-hmm. Fair. Alex, anything?
No,
all good. All right. So Horacio voted in. Then we got the good old safe sword, whatever they want to call it these days. And Devin, has the dagger. Thank you, Andy. And Devin's got the horseshoe up his ass, and he pulls the safe card. So we got a good old fashioned headbanger between Horacio and Jordan. Balls in, nothing better than that. What did we think about this elimination? I feel like this is one of those eliminations where is kind of like why we love the challenge.
Yeah, I mean, I love balls in, and we'll get into. I have a lot of thoughts on kind of each of their strategies because they seem to be polar opposites in terms of how they actually competed in it. I was a little confused by at first I was confused by the circle. There was like a rope circle around like the basket that seemed to be pretty close to it, which I feel like there usually isn't one. And it's usually like, just a huge circle, a ton of sand, and then the basket. But I don't know if there was like any sort of rules with the circle because I feel like they were tackling and getting physical inside and outside of it. So that kind of confused me for a bit. But I mean, overall, anytime you can get a physical elimination like this, we've seen it in the past, Bananas and Darrell, all those times. Like it's a fun watch for us.
Absolutely. Andy.
This was very much, and Mikey the doctor called it out. This is a tough elimination to have one hand. It really is. Like Jordan had to be holding the ball in his right hand the entire time. Like he couldn't really, like he could kind of cover it up, but he could never be grabbing it in this side or changing it or anything like that. And like, of course, we've seen him overcome that, especially in like a tug of war. But yeah, it's easy when you're going against the goof as opposed to someone like Horacio, who prior to tonight had already had 4 elimination wins under his belt. So I just think it was kind of a bad luck of the draw in terms of what the elimination was for Jordan. He still tried his hardest. I was still, just like Alex, very confused on the circle and like why Jordan got DQ'd the time he did. Like it was very confusing on that front, but I do love this challenge. And we did see 2 different types of styles, and they were both effective at times, and Jordan just came up a little short.
And I also think the biggest thing with this, it was competitive between the 2 guys. We have not had a competitive elimination in a long time, I feel like. I felt like everything in the past few weeks has been a blowout. This was close. 2-2, best out of 5. This is what you want to see. So Love that, but kind of what we said. Jordan with the one hand, he fumbled the ball. Horacio picking up the dub. Good for him, honestly. Is it safe to say, call me crazy, as of right now, this moment, is this the greatest rookie season of all time? I think you would have to say it is. This moment, like if you were to compare time, like let's say 70% of the season versus 70% of whoever you want to compare, obviously he hasn't won it yet or gone to the finals or anything like that. At this moment, do we think this is the great? I think it has to be. I mean, he's won 5 eliminations in 14 episodes.
It's tough to dispute that. When you look at the entire season, I think there's much more that you can point to and say this person had a better rookie season because they won or because they lasted the whole long way or whatever. But I think you bring up a good point at this point in time. And did you say 70%?
I hope we're 70%.
I hope so too, but
maybe 60. And Mikey the Doctor, he says, let's not forget, he couldn't even pronounce his name, and I ranked him last. Horcrux, yes, absolutely. I rated him last. Hand up. Rated him last. But I believe if you want to check the tape, Mikey the Doctor, I believe I said I knew nothing about him, and I did a shot in the dark on all the rookies. So hand up. But I own up. I did choose him last. But Alex, anything you want to talk about Horacio?
Yeah, so since we're talking about Horacio getting his very impressive 5th win of the season, I think, when we do our award show, whichever one of us gets the first pick for Rookie of the Year, I think we're going to be excited about that because the other two are going to be, it's an easy. It's first ballot. Horacio is Rookie of the Year at this point. But my question...
You know who's a sleeper Rookie of the Year this year?
Chauncey?
No, I think Olivia too, but also Adamitos. I mean, he's done half the episodes this year, so like.
All right. So the question I was going to ask you guys is: can you name the most recent challenger to start their career 5-0 in eliminations?
If we're going most recent, dare I say Fezzi from tonight? Did he win 5 tonight?
No.
What is he right now?
I think that might be 4. This is coming from our friends at Challenge Stats on Twitter.
Oh, the stats department.
So Fezzi's 4-0 at this moment.
Emily Schramm started her career 5, but there's somebody, and she still is 5-0. But there's somebody more recent than her that started their career 5-0.
Can you tell us guy or girl?
Girl.
Laurel.
Started.
I think Laurel got her 5th win after.
More recent.
I don't think Casey's been at that many.
I'm trying to think. She hasn't been on in a couple seasons. But I can tell you she made her first 3 seasons, she made the final.
I'm going to say Killer Cam.
Yeah.
Has she ever won a final?
No. I think her first elimination win was over some stupid bloodline. And then she beat Kellyanne.
It wasn't Jenna. Wow.
5-0 to start her career.
I was thinking that, and I didn't think she was in 5 eliminations. That's what I thought.
Says she reached her current record is 6-3. She reached 5-0 after beating Sylvia, and then she's been 1-3 since then.
Sylvia.
Cynthia.
Oh, classic mix-up. That's what I was going for. Damn, that's crazy. Good for Jenna. Good for Emily Schramm.
And good for Horacio.
No, I mean Horacio. This is. Also, I'm looking at eliminations. If you do count tonight's elimination with Fezzi, that is 5.
That's 5?
Yeah.
Who are the 5? Let's see if we can remember them. He beat Jordan his rookie year.
Nelly twice.
Number one, pole wrestle tonight. 2,
Kyle.
Yeah.
Nelly. There you go.
Because Fezzi came up in the you have to win an elimination era, the Skull era.
Yeah. So he is now 5-0.
Yep.
So as of 34 minutes ago, Alex, your stat department.
I'm going off challenge stats.
When was it tweeted?
I don't know.
Watch it be like 9:20. It would have been funny if they commented back onto it, quote tweeted, and be like, "Sorry."
9:10.
So yeah, it was before. There we go. So, all right. So, anything else from this elimination?
I don't think so. Horacio had a good one yet again.
Oh,
so wait. One thing we have to add is Fuzzy's line during deliberation that he then regurgitated after the elimination, where he said, "You know, Horacio, you just remind me of a younger version of me." And then you see Bananas like, "What? What are you talking about?" And then sure enough, after the elimination, "I see you, Horacio. I see you." Shut the fuck up. How are you trying to make this about you? Horacio has had a better season than you ever have. Like, just shut up. He's so, like, self-centered, egotistical. Like, he thinks the world revolves around him, and he hasn't won shit.
Fair.
It's nuts.
Can't really disagree with that statement because I agree. All right.
One last thing I want to throw out.
So at this point, I'm just like, wow, this was a quick episode. We can start the pod early, maybe watch a little basketball, nothing too crazy, right? Wrong. We still have 30 minutes left. So, I think Alex tweeted was kind of just like, is this a 60-minute episode? Like, we were kind of confused what was going on. And then all we see is TJ Lavin coming back to the house. Oh, no. I'm like, there can't be a location change already. And he's just like, get the shit going, pack her up. Let's go back to the zone. You do not want to go home right now. So everybody's like, what the hell's going on? And we go back to the zone. He makes the announcement back to pairs. The rejects from the Redemption House, Mariah, Jordan, and Kenny come home. What is our thoughts on those clowns coming back? I feel like Kenny was just kind of like, very like, God, I was on the last 2 episodes of White Lotus season 2. Like, I really was so close. Couldn't you just give me a little more time? Like, what is our thoughts when we see all this happening?
So I was thinking, do you think we know Kenny's in his hotel. He's watching HBO. He's just powering through. Maybe he went back to Entourage. And they brought Mariah in last week, and she's there. God knows what she's doing. Definitely not talking to Kenny. And then tonight, though, I wonder if Jordan ever made it to the hotel. I don't know if he did. I think maybe Jordan got eliminated, and they're like, "Look, we're gonna bring you back. Less than 24 hours from now. We'll find you like some like smaller hotel that's like closer to set. Stay with TJ and Roxanne. Get a little crazy." And then we'll bring you back tomorrow. We'll get these clowns from the hotel that we have. And then they come back in, what we saw in the episode, and, Jordan's running out there. He's running next to Mariah, and then he looks behind him and sees Kenny, and he's like, wait, where the fuck did you come from? Like, who are you?
My question is this. Was there ever a Redemption House? Like, nope. What were they in? What were they in? Show me the evidence. Show me the shack. My mind is like picturing like so many different things, and I just really want to see what it was. And I'm pissed at the challenge for not showing us.
I think my favorite part of all this was they brought out Kenny first, and his first line was, "Did you miss me?" And I'm pretty sure there was a shot of all of the contestants when he said that. And Casey's going nuts, and everyone else is just standing there like, who is this?
They were kind of like, is production just testing the audio right now? What's going on?
Yes, it was very much Ed from the Circle-esque. Thinking,
Ed
"Look,
from the
Zach."
don't disrespect Ed from the Circle.
I
I mean,
know.
me and Andy, I know we were on it first, and Alex hated it, but it's not. It wasn't on that level, but it was close. It was close.
Agreed.
Well, this is his second time coming back because he went home.
True.
COVID episode 1, I think. Back
Jeez.
before Halloween.
God, crazy. So we have all 3 teams in, or 3 players in, and it's just like I said, it's ride or dies, and we have another elimination. So we have a 3. What is it? A 1v1v1 elimination of. Correct? I'm saying that right? Of the losers and their partners. So, what are our thoughts on that? That your game is now affected, that you could have played a perfect game, and because your partner went home, now you're being thrown in.
Well, I think the introduction of the fact that these 3 idiots are coming back, and you're now paired, and now we're going to do an elimination. One team's going back in, and then you're going to do 1-on-1. That just screams to me making shit up as we go. And we've talked about that, numerous times in the pod before. That just clearly has to be something that they just decided as they went, because they would have no way to plan for this. Like we saw Nelson and Reese. They're the only pair so far that have both been eliminated and both gone home. And so, what if last week Casey would have gone home? Then Casey and Kinney go home, and there's only 2 teams to bring back, and then it's a 1-on-1. It just screams to me like we're just making shit up as we go, which is fine because the challenge does that, and I kind of smirk at it. So
I think it was all about a tipping point of when did the teams become completely uneven. Whenever that filler was, if it was, so I believe at that time it would have been what are we looking at? If you take away Jordan, there would have been 2 guys left, and how many girls left?
I think it was 4v7.
4v7. There must have been a breaking point. If it's a gap of 3, then we're doing this. It's the only way. If it would have been, let's say, this elimination tonight, let's say Jordan would have won, or not, Jordan would have won the daily, and it was a vet elimination, I think we would have had one more week of the old format. It was just more of it's 7 versus 4. There's no way we're doing this, right? And kind of what to Alex's point, it's just making it up on the fly and just adjusting.
Yes. And I think if I'm in Fuzzy's shoes, I'd be pissed. He just went from being on this dominating team, winning a good amount, and control the house. Now you're in elimination. You didn't lose a daily. It's not like you're being punished and have to make up for it. You are just tied to your ride or die, and now your whole game is on the line.
Yeah.
You can't really – well, I guess you could kind of say the same for Anissa as well, and Casey.
I was going to say that.
Jordan and Kenny and Mariah were all on the same team.
And that's the thing. Would we say that the biggest losers tonight, and I don't want to get into LVPs too much, is Anissa and Casey, for sure. You think you're safe. You think you are completely safe, and now you're in an elimination.
Yeah, their spot got blown up.
Actually, talking through this makes no sense. They just got thrown into elimination out of the blue.
No reason. Absolutely.
Wow.
Did that just? It's like the one GIF of just the.
Yes, I mean they've got to be pissed.
That's what I'm saying, because a person like Anissa, and no offense to her, she's kind of skating by. She's in a good spot with the vets. If this just keeps happening, she ain't going home, and the vets don't want to throw. The opposing team aren't going to throw her in because they know she's one of the weaker ones. So why would we vote her in? The only way she goes in is if she doesn't pull the safe card or the dagger.
Oh, so yeah, they want to keep her to the final at all costs.
And that's what I'm saying. That move killed Anissa and Casey tonight.
Yes.
And even Fezzy, honestly. Fezzy's just I'm skating by, life is good. And now he's shit, here we go again. So All right, let's dive into this elimination now. And it's a good old 1v1v1. And it's pretty simple. You and your partner have to lift up a barrel over a certain line, and you just hold it for 1 minute.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the weakest eliminations that you could possibly make, I feel like. I feel like what they should have done is use the exact same elimination last week with the bar and just who can hold on the longest. Why not do that?
Wait, what was that one?
What's the bar?
So when you're running with a partner, it was during the daily. So if you run to the spot, what I would do is just have the two people starting with the bar, and every second it gets tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter, and whoever the last person to do it stands. Something simple like that.
That was kind of
Or
like,
every 5 minutes you crank it or whatever.
TJ's got a big lever,
Because remember on Invasion, on Invasion, they did the triple elimination where it was like in the sand, on like all fours, going through the sand, like the rubber band thing. But that was just a girl and a guy. So I think you could have found a way to do a better elimination than what we have tonight.
Yeah. Andy, anything?
No, I mean, this was like what I don't like about eliminations, dailies, anything like that. Like the biggest X factor here seemed to be the sand on the platform. And it made it incredibly difficult to plant your feet. I hate that. In my mind, that takes away from what this is about. This is about like, can you hold this for a minute? But then it's like, all right, yeah, let's put it in a bunch of sand so no one can hold their feet. And then it's just like, why are you doing that? What's the point?
Production trying to do too much. What else is new?
Yes.
And I'm guessing, too, that, since we know that Fezzi and Mariah won, what they probably could have done, and I'm guessing that they actually did this to an extent, was like the barrel that they're pushing and holding, clearly Fezzi could hold it on his own. Like, I don't think he needs help from Mariah to do it. And so I'm wondering if, like, Fezzi maybe got in position, held the barrel, got his feet in the right place, and then couldn't Mariah just kind of, like, get her feet in the right place and just like touch the barrel and like slightly push it and like not even like kind of, I feel like if you're balancing the pushing of the barrel, if you just have your strongest team member do it and then you kind of chime in with your feet in the right spot, then I feel like that's the way to kind of do it.
Agreed.
It's a good point. So the elimination itself, Fezzi and Mariah pick up the dub. Looked like Casey and Kenny didn't even get it up to where it needed to be. Jordan had it up for about 30 seconds, and Fezzi and Mariah were the first team to get it to a minute. So Fezzi and Mariah back in the game. Now we're down to Jordan and Anissa and Casey and Kenny. And this is a good elimination. I like both of these teams going at it. I mean, you're losing a good team with Casey and blank, and then you also lose a good team as in Jordan, and that's it. So what are our thoughts on kind of the cliffhanger? We got an elimination right out of the bat to start the next episode. I like it. And this brings back what we talked about earlier, the 90-minute episodes. It will make the 90 minutes go a lot smoother. Where if they do it right, where we have an elimination for this, we go back to the house, go to the daily, and then we have the elimination again. If that happens, perfect episode pace-wise.
Will it happen? Not.
You know what? The one thing I'll say, and I believe I gave this an MVP, and I honestly, at this point, by episode 15, I don't know if I want it, but we haven't had the to be continued episode yet.
You said that was one of your favorite things about the challenge.
I know, I said that. Here's my thing. Here's my take, Andy. And I do stand by that. The issue is, when I said that, we were still on episodes that were like 15 max. So now we're getting to 20, 2 episodes a season, and it's just too much. I don't need it to be drawn out. When you do Rivals 2, Rivals 3, Battle of the X's, when it's 10 episodes, one of those being a to be continued, I think it hits the nail on the head. It's perfect.
Agreed.
God. Anything else from tonight's episode that we forgot we missed?
I think we covered really everything. I mean, we went into depth about everything during the challenge and during elimination and all that good stuff. And we kind of have a somewhat understanding of from here on out, it's going to be a little bit more different, probably back to how it was at the start of the season. So buckle up. You do not want to go home now.
Alex, anything?
My last question for the podcast is how do we treat the streak for next week? Since, I mean, do we play it as like the two teams that are going in, Casey and her brother, and Jordan and what's her name? Like, is it the winning team out of those two? Or are we expecting to see them first in the house? Because clearly we're not starting with the house shot. So how do we treat this?
I think whoever wins that elimination, are they the first shown?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
the streak will be announced at like 15 minutes into the episode. Hopefully.
Yes.
Okay.
So 8:15 next week, we should hopefully know if the streak is on or not.
And at about the same time, what that's going to mean is I think we're going to have 6 teams left. Because when they paired up, we had 4 teams that all had their partner still there. We got Fezzi and Mariah back. We're going to get one more. So that's going to be 6 teams. So it feels like we're down to the wire. But at the same time, like, I think they're going to go to the final with 4 teams. So that we still have at least 2 more episodes before then.
That's not too bad, though, honestly. If that's the pace, we're fine. I worry about how long this final is going to be. I've heard some rumblings that it's
the
like,
longest final of all time.
Yes. I think somebody said in the chat that it's like, where did I see this? I thought somebody said it was 3 episodes.
Don't you dare say 3 episodes.
I swear to God. I thought I saw that somewhere. I could be completely
Hope
wrong.
you're lying.
I got to look back at the chat. I don't want to get too far where we're in the weeds of spoilers and stuff, but
Trevor, spoilers, Fontaine.
no. I'm spoiler free. I don't honestly. Alex has admitted he has had spoilers in the past, but are you spoiler free this season?
Spoiler free.
All right.
Adam Mitos, on the other hand.
Adam Mitos knows who wins season 39. I mean, it's bananas, Johnny. So, all right. Let's go. Let's dive into some segments tonight. What do we got? We got, I think, this day in challenge history to start us off.
Yes, we do.
All right, let's hear it.
All
This
right,
day
so
in challenge history.
This day in challenge history, it's going to be a quick trivia question that's going to kind of lead us into a quick conversation topic, debate topic.
Marshawn Lattimore.
So, too soon. The trivia question is on this day in challenge history.
Don't be the duel. Don't be the duel.
On the duel, Svetlana punched her ticket to the final by beating who?
No idea. I don't know the duel that well. My guess would be Anissa.
On that episode 15, a 30-minute episode.
What was it? Anissa Goes Home was the title?
No, the title was Final Four.
Brad, pack your bags.
Brad beat CT, and Svetlana beat Anissa.
Wow. So this brings up what?
Well, I was going to kind of just get your guys' thoughts on, I feel like, and we'll have to get our challenge historian on this, I feel like the duel has to be the lowest number of people to run a final.
Which is, it's got to be.
2 guys, 2 girls. I mean, that's kind of unheard of. You think of like even some of like the other seasons that we've had since then. Like I feel like it's 3 is kind of the number, but it's like 3 teams, so it's like 6 people. Or if there's 3 guy teams, 3 girls team, that's 12 people. So to have a season that's 4 people is kind of wild. I don't think, and they've kind of even in the past 10 seasons migrated away from 6 people in a final to 8 people, or to 4 teams, 5 teams even. Like, I feel like that's another staple of this era that we're in now, is that they increase the number of people in a final just to kind of squeeze as much as they can out of it.
I personally, my favorite, if we're in teams of 2, I like 4 teams, we do the location change and we do one more elimination. And then when you have the 3 teams, you do the final. That's my favorite.
I love that.
I think that's the cleanest look. And then, and I even like all 3 teams. I know this is kind of Mickey Mouse and all that participation trophies. I'm fine with all 3 teams winning money. I am fine with that.
If they finish.
Exactly. That's the nail on the head. If they don't finish, if it's 25,000, that should be split up between the 2 other teams. That's how I look at it.
Agreed.
God. I want to know tonight what the over-under of agreed or yes from Andy tonight is. I think it might be like 6.5.
Yes.
Oh, come on. That one does not count.
Agreed.
All right. MVP, LVP?
For sure. All right. MVP, LVP. Let's dive in. Chat, you guys know what to do. Mikey the Doctor. If you want to give us the order, it looks like you were the only person kind of chilling with us right now for the past 2 minutes. Jesse Adams could come out of left field, or who knows, maybe Boogie can come. But he might have boogied on out. No Adamitos in the chat tonight. Kind of disappointed. What else is new? Mikey the Doctor coming in hot with the Alex Andy Trev for MVP LVP. Alex, you are the Chicago Bears. You are on the clock.
I don't know if I'm drafting a QB. We'll field that question.
Hey, it's on me. I screwed up. It's on me.
We got to make sure we get the guy who's right.
Okay. It doesn't matter. I don't like losing. Our fans deserve better.
Fucking Holder, those clowns. So my MVP tonight, I'm going to go with Horacio.
Wow, great pick.
An impressive performance from, starting with the flowers, and maybe he was trying to get it in, kind of sweet talk his way in, very, Kyle with a Plan B smoothie. So, I mean, that's a good start. The elimination, I think he was on there with Nani was his partner. Maybe he got a couple feels there. But obviously, he cemented it with the 5-0 elimination. Literally never lost an elimination. I mean, very, we talked about the Rookie of the Year earlier. He's a shoo-in for that at this point. But 5-0, started his career. It's a short list. I think Wes and Casey were both rookies when they did do it. I don't know about that other Sarah chick, but only 5-0 rookies. So I'm going to go MVP Horacio.
Andy.
I'm going to go. You guys might not be expecting this, but I definitely have some logic to it. My MVP for tonight is going to be Bananas.
Oh, I like that. I was thinking that Radar Watch ask.
And this got brought up, I think, in last week's chat. Why the fuck is no one going after Johnny Bananas right now? He's the greatest challenger who's ever lived, and no one is trying to go after him. And not only that, he's still been a part of winning teams the whole time. Now he's back with Nani. So those two together as a pairs team looks very strong compared to everyone else. And, oh, by the way, his side ting is back. So Bananas is just living the life. He's been dominating this season. He's back with his ride or die. And now he can get some again with Mariah. He's a legend.
Great pick.
That's a good pick. And that did remind me of one question about Bananas that I forgot to ask earlier. Bananas has done 20-plus seasons of this shit. And so, he's coming with multiple, looks, hairstyles, things like that. Have we ever seen Bananas wear glasses on the challenge until tonight?
I have seen him before. I think I can picture him in like Rivals 3 wearing glasses with a beanie on.
Like the rectangle lenses.
Yes. Yeah.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
It was definitely different glass. Like once he was wearing tonight.
It wasn't the ones tonight. No, it wasn't those. He probably got the challenge prescriptions. I don't know. Anything else, or am I good for MVP?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I have an interesting MVP tonight. You might be surprised, but I think this person could have arguably been the LVP at the 60-minute mark of this episode. But with an extra life, I think Jordan's my MVP tonight. I think Jordan, as crazy as it sounds, him being eliminated hurts, but not so fast. Him being back in the game rejuvenated him. And I think he's back. And he said at the last minute of the episode, you don't get many second chances. This is my time to shut up, or what is it? Suit up or shut up or whatever. I think this is his time. And I think this will be a wake-up call. And I am putting, I don't know what Andy's book is next week for Jordan to win this elimination. I'm hammering Jordan next week. And I think he's pissed. And I love this kind of Jordan when he's pissed and he's excited to compete.
Well, Trev, not so fast. The
Explain.
bookmakers have been talking because they gave a preview of what next week's elimination is going to be.
I have no idea what the elimination is going to be. What is it?
Let's just say,
don't say a puzzle.
Jordan and Anissa are dogs.
Wolf?
Underdogs.
What's this challenge?
I couldn't tell exactly what it was, but there was a lot of ropes and a lot of getting untangled and going through obstacles and getting, knots in and out and everything. And
it was not so fast.
Yes, it's not so fast. And
okay, I understand.
Kind of built like a twig, and Anissa's more built like a stump. So
I think though, and Andy's going to disagree with me here. The difference between, and Mikey the Doctor brings up this point, I understand that. The issue that I have, and Andy's going to disagree, I believe the gap between Casey and Anissa is much closer than Kenny and Jordan. And Jordan has one hand. Jordan, what has Kenny done? Show me something that he's done. At least Anissa has been on how many seasons of this show and has a little bit of credibility. Not amazing, not a ton. I'm not giving you that. And I understand the pig roast and all this crap. I get it. But she's been in elimination. Kenny has been on HBO Max for the past 3 weeks. He's not prepared for this. I'm hammering Jordan and Anissa. Give me whatever odds those are.
I mean, I don't think you're overlooking the fact that this elimination is going to require agility, being nimble, being flexible, being able to climb, being able to weave your way through things. Jordan's great, but he is anchored. Yeah.
All you need is one rope to get tangled, though. Anissa could just be anchored, like you said, and Jordan the one weaving through it. And I still think they would get it done faster.
Look, if we didn't see a preview of what the elimination was, Jordan and Anissa would be favorites. Very much on board with what you're saying. But you're telling me, I know you're saying, oh, I'm taking Jordan. He's my guy. He doesn't lose this. No. You're taking Anissa. That's what you're saying right now.
I'm taking Anissa over Kenny. Yes, absolutely.
You're taking Anissa
yes.
to win in an elimination like not so fast.
Over Kenny, yes.
Okay.
Do we need to do a little wager on this? Loser wears like something? I don't know. It's up to you. We could talk about it.
We'll get into that.
We'll get into it.
What was your MVP?
Jordan. Jordan's my MVP. Go. Don't you disrespect Jordan, please.
Who's your LVP?
Child, please. My LVP tonight is something that they completely dropped the ball on this season. They didn't even show us it. And it's got to be the Redemption House. The fact that we didn't even see a Redemption House this season, we didn't see Kenny watch HBO Max. We didn't even see the interactions between these clowns. Sorry for interrupting, but Mikey the Doctor, I like that. Mikey the Doctor, loser has to wear a Scott Yeager t-shirt. Loser has to buy one.
Yeah, we have to pay $50 for that.
I don't have $300 that I can just spend on a shirt.
I think we can. Yeah, I don't want to start up a Venmo or anything like that for donations, but I do like that, Mikey the Doctor. Maybe I'll make a t-shirt for it or whatever. But back to what I was saying. Back to the LVP, the Redemption House. It was dropped this year. Bring me the freaking house. Show me the contestants in there. Even if they're eating Doritos or whatever, I love seeing that shit. I want to know what they're doing. And it just pisses me off that they were probably in a hotel just doing nothing. That's so disrespectful. And I might say this. Do you think they kind of judged it off the first person eliminated? First person who was in the redemption house was Kenny. So they're just like sitting on like their phones or whatever, and they're just like, it looks like Kenny's going home. Get the cheapest hotel you can possibly do. If it was, Fezzy, but get the house, get the Airbnb, get the Airbnb. I think that's what happened. But drop the ball. I'm so pissed I didn't see a redemption house this season. So mad. Yeah.
All right,
So is it redemption houses?
Yep, redemption house.
Okay.
Or should we call it redemption hotel? That might be the other thing.
We'll get into that.
God. All right.
I'm up. My LVP was I jotted this person's name down early, and I think for very reasonable cause. And I'm sticking to it. My LVP pick is gonna be Chauncey
Phillips.
You're not gonna quit and get away from me. You might get a somewhat, TJ being somewhat mad at you, but not really, grilling into you like he used to. He doesn't hate quitters as much anymore, it seems like. I do. Chauncey's my LVP pick. He's now back with Amber. That doesn't look like that great of a team as well. So I'm giving mine to Chauncey, and didn't like his performance today, and I don't think he's set up for doing too much in the future.
Good pick. Good pick. Alex, round us off tonight, LVP.
I'm going to go LVP Anissa.
Good pick.
And for kind of, a variety of reasons that are all kind of connected to each other. But, the fact that within 60 minutes, she loses Jordan. So if the episode would have ended there, I think she's a number one LVP option just because she was, being carried by him. But at the same time, it's the fact that they shifted back to partners. And so she can't hide on a team anymore. Her team, I think at the time, still had 7 people on it. And so she's able to kind of hide behind the fact that she's terrible at 90% of the shit that they do. But then the fact that they get Jordan back and, they didn't secure their spot back in the house tonight. Maybe they will next week. We'll see. But either way, like if they either lose next week and they're gone and Anissa is, going to go back home and eat some Philly cheesesteaks, or she's going to stay with Jordan and be his anchor, and she's going to not be able to hide behind the fact that there's 6 other people on her team. And so I just think Anissa is in a bad spot. It's kind of like the fun is over. The carnival is closed. The buffet is closed. Like there's just no more that Anissa can do here. She's at the end of her line. She's not on a team anymore. She's just dragging Jordan down. So I'm just going to go LVP Anissa.
That's a great pick, and we brought that up earlier with the whole LVP. I mean, just a great pick on the night. Anything else? Honorable mentions. I think an easy honorable mention LVP would be Adam Meadows not showing up in the chat tonight. It is what it is. Anything else?
What it is.
It is what it is. Anything? Honorable mention. Honestly, this season too. Mike is Doctor. You've killed it in the chat this entire year. I really do mean that. You killed it. Anything else? Honorable mentions. One LVP honorable mention. This is very Andy-esque with this. I feel like it was on the border. It wasn't tipping there, but TJ Lavin as an LVP for not being more harsh on Chauncey.
He's soft. He's soft as shit. Soft like Charmin and baby's bottoms. Don't hurt their feelings because they got them.
So soft. So
that's what he is these days. He used to say, don't take it easy. See you never. Now he's getting this bullshit of, oh, you know what? You can't overcome your fear. Okay, that's fine. Get the fuck out of here.
Mikey the Doctor writes, honorable mention Kenny for MVP. I need an explanation on him being an honorable mention MVP. I feel like he would be pissed. Like we said earlier, he was 2 episodes away from finishing White Lotus. I feel like he was that close. Like that hurts him. Like he's probably like, I don't want to be back in this game. Let these clowns duke it out a little longer.
Yeah, I think Kenny and Casey are actually both LVP honorable mentions. Because Kenny wants to get the fuck out of there. He's had it.
Yeah.
He even said tonight, I have a family and kids aren't cheap. And then Casey is, she's just boring. She wants to get out of there too, probably at this point. So I would say they're LVPs, but I also, I feel like I kind of sounded down on the episode, which compared to maybe last week's, I probably was, but I still feel like in the grand scheme of things, we're in a good spot because tonight we saw the answer to what you've been speculating for the past few weeks. How are they going to bring this twist back of the people in the Redemption Hotel? How are they going to bring them back? We kind of saw that answer tonight, but we still have questions about what's next. We know one team's coming back. There's going to be 6 teams left. How many, eliminations to the final? How are they going to decide it? So I think we're still in a good spot because every episode is going to be unique, I think, from this point on.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything else, Andy, on your end?
I'm good.
Yeah, there's a different word tonight. Well, thank you guys for listening to a brand new Stir the Pod podcast show. I've been your host, Trevor. You can follow us on Twitter at Stir the Pod. You can follow us on Instagram at Stir_the_pod. Thank you guys. Love you guys. Shout out Duffy. Bye-bye.